Ah, good old CHH. It's a term that has been around for several years, changing in some ways and remaining the same in others. As in other musical genres, some openly biblical artists embrace this term, and some have an indifference to it, preferring to let themselves be whatever a particular listener sees them as. Even so, at least within hip-hop, there are artists who openly oppose the CHH title, Aha Gazelle being one of them. I can't necessarily say this for other artists, but I don't find it too difficult to see why Aha might be opposed to such a title. My goal with this video is to walk you guys through this, and along the way raise some questions and get some thoughts going. After all, isn't CHH more than just a title? Keep in mind my goal with this video isn't to defend anyone here. I'm just looking at the title of CHH and observing how it may not be a benefit to every openly biblical hip-hop artist. I know absolutely nothing about Aha as a person, so I'm merely going off what I pick up on in his music, and as a result, this is only my opinion. With all that being said, let's take our time and examine the curious case of Aha Gazelle and CHH, and I'll be bringing up 3 potential problems with Aha being labeled CHH. So, as an artist, Aha may not have as twisted a backstory as Bruce Wayne, but it certainly wasn't all roses either. His music is quite dark and heavy, with many lyrics carrying profound implications and his production often coming across as eerie. With nothing more to his name than, well, an interesting ring to it, he started from scratch with his Green Beans and Tuna album. From the start, Aha was clearly making music from a biblical perspective. This never really changed with him. Some artists start preaching more, others start preaching less, but Aha has typically stayed in the same lane. He was good at being himself and relaying the struggle of wanting to be cool, the life of a misfit. I'd say he's still doing this, although, now that he's got quite a platform, there are some new struggles thrown into the mix. And on their own merits, Green Beans and Tuna, BMO and BMO and I Too were all wonderfully relatable projects. These projects helped build his reputation and were circulated around on various hip-hop websites known to promote and share mixtapes. Things started to change, however, when Free Barabbas was released, as this was his first project to be featured on Rapzilla. Rapzilla is great in that it can help expose an artist to a massive audience, but an important thing about Rapzilla is that it has been and will likely always be a CHH platform. The website thinks and operates in the world of CHH. It's Christian rap and Christian hip-hop culture's most visited destination. Everything it promotes, whether intentionally or not, will come under the scrutiny of the CHH community. Thus, this is perhaps where the problem started. Without ever being a CHH artist, his mixtape got shared on a website explicitly for CHH, and the association has been attached to Aha to this day. The whole thing was further compounded by Aha getting signed to Reach Records, a record label that was formerly associated with CHH, and has been trying to disassociate with it for some time now. Aha being CHH wasn't too far of a stretch at first glance. He talks about Jesus in his music like there's no tomorrow. However, the issue does present itself once we really start to examine his presentation and what CHH represents. An important element about Aha's music is that while it wasn't explicitly for black people, it certainly dealt with racism in a way that not everyone could relate to. The idea of being a misfit purely because of your race, your skin color. This is part of what drew me into his music so much. As a black kid growing up in predominantly white schools, I was constantly reminded of my physical inability to fit in. With songs like Misfit Island, Don't Nobody Like Black, and more recently All Gold Party, Aha has never really let go of this aspect in his music. It's not just an element of his music either. Aha finds part of his misfit identity in the fact that he's black, and a minority in this country. There's certainly more character to him than that. Aha loves Dragon Ball Z, he played Sonic when he was a kid, and it may have not been the best Sonic game, but that's beyond the jurisdictions of this channel. Aha even likes to sprinkle Pokemon references within his music here and there, so there's definitely an individualistic character in the whole score of his music. However, he takes pride in being a black man with black cultural roots, and as a result, you have a hard time getting away from that in his music. Whether it's his infectious and loud Louisiana bounce or the more subtle implications of a song like All White Party, Aha shows an unmistakable sense of duty in speaking up for and representing black people in his music. He sees that black people often have to do twice the amount of work or more than white people to succeed, and that's why up until Free Barabbas, it was safe to say that his audience likely consisted of black people who felt drawn to the unabashedly black beauty in his music. It's not as if he tries to alienate listeners of other races, but I feel that overall his music is similar to John Gives, in that he often gives a glimpse into the pain and struggle of being black in a country that doesn't like black, unless it's got some gold in it. Like John, he doesn't portray himself as a victim, but rather wears his blackness as a flag of pride, because in God's eyes, black is beautiful, and he uses that conviction to speak and relate to those who look and feel like him. This, in and of itself, isn't necessarily a problem. God made different races for a reason, and they're all equally beautiful, so there's no wrong in appealing specifically to the people who look like you and might have gone through similar things in the same society as you. It actually makes a great deal of sense when you consider it that way. Had Aha never been introduced to CHH, there probably wouldn't have been an issue like this, as he would have grown more and more within black hip-hop loving communities. So far, we can glimpse the fact that Aha worked his way from nothing without the support of the CHH community, and only being labeled so when he finally got big enough to be exposed to that CHH audience. Now, that leaves our third problem, CHH itself. Of course, there's nothing inherently wrong with the idea of CHH. Ideally, at its core, it could be hip-hop artists who are Christian and make music that Christians can get behind and support, so that the artist can ultimately reach the outside world. I don't really see that with the current state of affairs, and I think artists like Aha may not see it either, to the point he wants to avoid being labeled under that term entirely. As much as I'd like to be more artistic in my way of saying it, I'll be upfront. CHH is financially supported predominantly by white church-going Christians. White churches have been a lot of the backbone in pushing CHH onto big platforms, such as the Dove Awards and Winter Jam, and the pockets of white evangelicals have helped CHH get circulated to predominantly white youth groups. This isn't a bash or an attack towards white people, it's simply what's been going on. With this in mind, imagine for a second the discomfort that might be created were Aha to perform at a majorly white megachurch. He gets on stage and starts rapping about police killing black people, symbolically setting all white parties on fire, and presents his tricked out Louisiana trap style with R&B elements. Aha simply wasn't meant for a white audience because he never really had a white audience in mind. He loves God, but as far as people go, to me it seems like he always wanted to speak to and build up the black culture in the US, saved and unsaved alike. Aha Gazelle wants his listeners to be in touch with their blackness, and also wants for them to know about Jesus. It's a combination that's easy to fathom, but the black component is what can alienate white churchgoers. Many of them aren't inclined to want to hear about some of the things Aha has to say. There's even a chance for a physical disconnect due to the fact that Aha has black skin and long black dreads. It goes beyond the racial elements of his music as well. I've personally witnessed people find contention with Aha's usage of black eyes and upside down crosses, so even his choices of symbolism is offending this CHH group. So I don't think his music will ever be truly presentable to a CHH audience that is predominantly white and wants music which feels appropriate and relatable, or at least music that isn't so pro-black as Aha Gazelle's. It honestly seems like there might be unspoken rules when it comes to CHH about what is and what isn't appropriate, what an artist ought to speak on. If you place an artist like Aha within the label of CHH, he seems divisive and inappropriate because predominantly white listeners will be giving him their money to hear him talk about empowering black people. Left to his own devices, however, it becomes clear that Aha is an artist trying to reach the souls of blacks and misfits alike, and wants to portray the realistic ups and downs of walking with Christ, while also exposing the underbelly of society. Well, what can I say? As a longtime listener of this artist, it truly breaks my heart to see what's happened in some ways. On one hand, I'm elated to see that he's going to continue on the path he's been since Green Beans and Tuna. I'm delighted that he will be an artist I relate to as a young black man. On the other hand, it's disheartening to see a whole wave of people misunderstand Aha and mistake him as being divisive or sending mixed signals. What's worse, a lot of this confusion only seemed to come in once Aha came under the scrutiny of the CHH community. To me, what Aha has been clear from the start. It seems like at the end of it all, a term like CHH can indeed be toxic when it has nothing to do with what the artist represented from the start. It seems like at the end of it all, a term like CHH can indeed be toxic when it has nothing to do with what the artist represented from the start and brings that artist under the scrutiny of an audience they never intended to appeal to in the beginning. Aha is like a living essence of the troubled black soul in American society. And although he has eternal assurance in Christ, his music details the struggles and changes challenges he deals with in the here and now. He can't please everyone, so he finds a particular audience and mostly speaks to them. Taken outside of that context, his content can be seen a variety of ways, all fractured in nature and missing the bigger picture, and his full identity can't be seen. When viewed under the correctly sized lens, however, I think it's clear that Aha is not, nor has he ever been, a CHH artist. He's a voice for black culture, and a thoroughly symbolic artist who can't quite be at home anywhere. A true misfit. Thanks for watching, everyone. How do you guys feel about CHH and black culture? Let me know what you think about artists like Aha Gazelle who come across as pro-black in their music. Until next time, everyone, peace out.
I make hits like McMahon. God's gift from Black Santa. Pro-black, but I still wear white socks with black sandals. Some of y'all need to tell the truth. Telling lies is a bad habit. All that BS won't flush, cause it really was too much to handle. Rest in peace, Vicky and Palander. Dear God, I really hate cancer. If you're not a Christian rapper, what you called and hung up, I should've never answered. Green